water, earth, fire, air. Long ago, the four nations lived together in harmony. Then, everything changed when the Fire Nation attacked. Only the Avatar, master of all four elements, could stop them. But when the world needed him most, he vanished.
In a world where stories inspires reality and history shapes narratives, Avatar: The Last Airbender emerges as more than just a tale of fantasy. Through its lens, we dive deep into the heart of the 1986 People Power Revolution, a turning point that redefined the Philippines. This video explores the intricate parallels between the beloved series and the profound themes of the EDSA People Power Revolution, debunking misconceptions and misinformation about the collective power that changed the course of history. Because just like in Avatar, millions of people, armed with only hope and unity, took to the streets to defy tyranny. But if you think you know this story, if you think that this story is just about political dynasties clashing for power, think again. Mabuhay, or in Kapampangan, luwid kayo. Welcome to my channel. It's me, Kirby Aráullo, your friendly Pinoy historian. So Netflix just dropped the first season of the much-awaited live-action adaptation of the Avatar: The Last Airbender. Basically on the same weekend that we commemorate the 38th year anniversary of the People Power Revolution of the Philippines. Now, as a historian and a huge fan of the Avatar universe, since the very first episode of the original series back in 2005, I of course cannot pass this chance to create this video on what we can learn about the EDSA People Power Revolution by watching Avatar: The Last Airbender. And actually, before we continue to dig deeper, let me know in the comments below if you think that I should make this into a mini-series. Actually, I might just make it into a mini-series, but let me know what you think in the comments below. A mini-series on Avatar's hidden history lessons. Basically, videos about, what we can learn about history from watching Avatar: The Last Airbender. So yeah, let me know what you think in the comments below, and honestly, I already have ideas for the second part and the third part of this miniseries. So if this is part 1, next week I might do part 2 on, from Avatar to reality, the power of Southeast Asian women. And, just in time for Women's History Month. And, then part 3 could be something about, Avatar Unveiled, rediscovering pre-colonial Philippines. Just in time for the anniversary of the so-called discovery of the Philippines in 1521. So those two would be my next coming videos. So stay tuned and comment below if you think this is a good idea for a mini-series on this channel. Okay, now without further ado, let's first dive deep into how diversity and unity and diversity played a crucial role in the revolution, in the uprising in 1986, much like how Team Avatar's journey was throughout the series. In the heart of the Philippines, the EDSA People Power Revolution shines as a beacon of unity, similar to the diverse group of people in Team Avatar, a blend of characters from across the four nations, and it mirrors the collective spirit of the Filipino people from various backgrounds united in their quest for freedom. So the unity among Aang, Katara, Sokka, Toph, and Zuko symbolizes the solidarity across the Philippines during EDSA. This coalition transcended political, social, and geographical divides, reflecting a broad national movement rather than a conflict confined to the political elite. Team Avatar's journey underscores the power of collaboration and mutual respect, highlighting how diverse groups can achieve monumental goals when united by a common cause. Now, shifting focus from the series to reality, it's essential for us to address a widespread misconception that EDSA was just, a mere political showdown, when in fact, it was a culmination of many years of 2 decades of resistance against dictatorship, involving Filipinos from all walks of life. This movement debunked the idea that the struggle was merely between two political factions, showcasing instead a united front of millions of people advocating for democracy and justice. By drawing parallels between Avatar: The Last Airbender and the EDSA People Power movement, we see the strength of unity in diversity. It's a powerful reminder that when people come together, transcending differences, they can rewrite history. This narrative not only inspires us but also teaches us the importance of collective action in the face of adversity. From unity, let's shift our gaze towards this build-up towards a peaceful uprising, echoing this journey, this quest, echoing Aang's slow but steady resolve in his quest for peace and justice. As the first light of dawn scatters across the sky, it symbolizes not just the birth of a new day, but also the awakening of a collective spirit, reminiscent of Aang's journey in Avatar: The Last Airbender. The EDSA People Power Revolution, a pivotal moment in Philippine history, mirrors this narrative not just as, an abrupt rebellion, but as a culmination of persistent courage and steadfast resolve. Just as Aang embarked on a formidable quest to master all four elements before facing Fire Lord Ozai, the Filipino people engaged in a prolonged struggle of organizing, protesting, and resisting against the dictatorship. This journey of preparation, filled with, silent battles and sacrifices, parallels the peaceful mass gatherings at EDSA, or the Epifanio de los Santos Avenue in Manila. It highlights the importance of unity, of solidarity, and collective effort in the face of tyranny, showcasing how gradual but firm resistance and struggle can lead to monumental change. From this, it's crucial to address a common misconception that EDSA was merely spontaneous. Because viewing the People Power Revolution at EDSA merely as a spontaneous event, it overlooks the deep-seated roots of dissent that had been nurturing for years, for decades. Because in fact, far from being an abrupt outburst, the EDSA People Power Revolution was the result of long-standing grievances against corruption, against human rights abuses, and against the suppression of democracy under the Marcos dictatorship. And this mirrors and reflects the series-long buildup of resistance against the Fire Nation, against the oppressive rule of the Fire Lord, reminding us and emphasizing that significant change often comes from prolonged struggles. It often comes from sustained movements, and not just from sudden eruption of dissent. And this narrative of the EDSA Revolution, much like the journey of Aang and his friends, teaches us about the power of patience, the power of resilience, and the power of collective action in overcoming oppression and ending injustices. And it serves as a reminder that the path to freedom and justice is often a long journey, fraught with challenges, but ultimately leading to triumph. And as we draw these parallels between history and the series, we're reminded of the enduring strength of the human spirit, and of course, the transformative power of peaceful uprising. By the way, if you like this video, don't forget to like this video and share this video and subscribe to my channel for more history, culture, and everything in between. Okay, now back to our topic. Let's now dive into and witness the, how collective action and how non-violence shaped the EDSA People Power Revolution, and how this actually mirrors, Aang's decisive moment of compassion in the original series. The EDSA People Power Revolution stands as a testament to the power of peaceful resistance, echoing the core themes of Avatar: The Last Airbender. In this historic event in the Philippines, millions of Filipinos united not with violence, not with firearms, but with an unwavering commitment to peace, mirroring the climactic decision of Aang to confront Fire Lord Ozai with mercy and restraint. Aang's choice to defeat Ozai using energy bending rather than lethal force underscores the power of non-violent resistance. This act of sparing life, even in the face of monumental conflict, reflects the spirit of the People Power Revolution. Millions of Filipinos gathered in masses, demonstrating the indomitable collective will for change, embodying Aang's philosophy of achieving victory by upholding one's core values. In today's context, in today's society in the Philippines, the peaceful assembly at EDSA of millions of Filipinos leading to the ousting of a dictator sadly often goes underappreciated. This gathering was not merely a protest, but a profound display of non-violent power, setting a global example that peaceful change is profoundly impactful. Just as Aang's victory redefined the path to peace in his world, the EDSA People Power Revolution demonstrated the effectiveness of non-violent resistance on a worldwide scale. The narratives of EDSA and Aang's final battle with Ozai convey a universal message that true strength lies in the heart of peaceful resistance. This historic uprising and Aang's journey reminds us of the enduring power of solidarity, of unity and peace in overcoming tyranny. Reflecting on these stories inspires us to uphold the principles of nonviolence and collective action, highlighting that a united stand for peace and justice can indeed forge a path towards a society where there is genuine peace and justice in our communities. Beyond the streets of Manila, like literally beyond the Epifanio de los Santos Avenue, let's now explore how the spirit of EDSA, the spirit of the People Power Revolution, ignited a nationwide movement across the archipelago. Reflecting the widespread struggle for balance, struggle for peace that we see in the world of the Avatar across the four nations. Unknown to many, the EDSA People Power Revolution, beyond its epicenter in Metro Manila, ignited a national fervor that echoed throughout the Philippines. From the northern highlands of Baguio to the southern shores of Davao, from the fertile lands of Pampanga to the streets of Iloilo. This widespread movement, similar to the global struggle for balance and freedom in the world of the Avatar, showcased a collective yearning for democracy that transcended geographic and social divides. In Avatar, The Last Airbender, the liberation of the big city of Ba Sing Se, the capital of the Earth Kingdom, and the final battle against the Fire Nation embody the spirit of unity and the resistance against tyranny and injustices. These moments parallel the People Power Revolution, where the call for change resonated not just within the congested streets of the capital, but also in places like Cebu, Pampanga, Iloilo, and beyond. The Avatar series and the People Power Revolution both highlight a crucial and undeniable truth, that the quest for liberty and justice is a shared endeavor that unites diverse groups of people in a common cause. Acknowledging the nationwide scope of EDSA, beyond the streets of EDSA, challenges the misconception of its impact being confined to Manila. The People Power Revolution was a testament to the Filipino people's shared desire for democracy and freedom, a sentiment that transcended geographic boundaries and united a diverse nation. The EDSA People Power movement, much like the narrative of Avatar The Last Airbender, illustrates that the pursuit of justice and freedom, it knows no bounds. It is a powerful reminder of the strength found in unity and collective action and collective will. This historic event teaches us that when a nation comes together, when a diverse group of people comes together, driven by a common purpose, it can overcome tyranny and inspire a legacy of democracy that echoes through generations, that transcends across the oceans. In the immediate aftermath of the People Power Revolution in the Philippines, we will see how the journey of rebuilding a society that has been broken by decades of corruption, by decades of oppression and injustices. We see how this journey of facing new challenges actually parallels Prince Zuko's path towards peace and justice, towards peace and governance in the world of the Avatar, from the Fire Nation and beyond. In the aftermath of the EDSA People Power Revolution, the Philippines embarked on a path back to democracy. Much like how, in the world of the Avatar The Last Airbender, they sought to bring back peace after defeating the tyrannical Fire Lord. And this period of rebirth and reconstruction, while filled with hope, was also laden with trials, with immense trials that tested the resilience of a nation reborn. In the realm of the Avatar, the end of the war did not signify an immediate transition to peace. So Prince Zuko's ascension as the new Fire Lord brought with it the monumental task of rebuilding a world scarred by conflict and division for a century. His efforts to mend the fractures of the past while ensuring peace and justice reflect the journey of the Philippines after EDSA. Just as Zuko faced the daunting challenges of governance, of reconciliation, and the constant threat of lingering authoritarianism, the Philippines navigated through its newfound democracy with similar hurdles, with similar challenges. The Philippines grappled with governance issues, persistent corruption to this day, and the shadows of authoritarianism, the shadows of tyranny, while striving to uphold the democratic ideals that the people fought for during the People Power movement. To view the EDSA People Power Revolution's aftermath as a simple victory for democracy is to overlook the complex realities that followed. Democracy's restoration was just the beginning of a longer journey towards genuine freedom and justice, and the challenges of post-revolution governance, battling corruption, and safeguarding against authoritarian tendencies echo the post-war challenges in the Avatar world. These struggles underscore that the fight for freedom, that the fight for democracy and peace is an ongoing challenge, requiring us to be constantly vigilant, requiring us to stay committed. The narrative of the Philippines after EDSA, intertwined with the story of peace building in Avatar, reminds us that the path towards a just and equitable society is often fraught with challenges. And more importantly, it teaches us that democracy is a continuous journey and not a destination, and that the true essence of courage lies in the relentless pursuit of peace and justice, even in the face of daunting challenges. Now, beyond the Philippines, let's look at how the People Power Revolution in the Philippines became a beacon of hope around the world. Much like how, the unification efforts and peace-building efforts of the Avatar and his team in the Avatar world inspired movements for freedom across the four nations. The People Power Revolution, a pivotal moment in Philippine history, did not only reshape the nation's destiny, but also sent ripples across the world, symbolizing the universal cry for liberation and democracy. This momentous event, much like the epic saga of Avatar: The Last Airbender, transcends its local context to inspire global movements against tyranny. In the world of the Avatar, the liberation and unification of the four nations underpin a profound message of hope, of unity and resilience. This narrative, where people from all walks of life come together to forge a future marked by peace and justice, mirrors the spirit of the People Power movement. Now, unknown to many, including many Filipinos today, the People Power movement, this peaceful uprising in the Philippines, actually became a beacon of hope for the oppressed peoples and nations worldwide, demonstrating the profound impact of collective action. It highlighted how the principles of unity and nonviolent resistance could galvanize movements for freedom and democracy. From Eastern Europe's Velvet Revolutions to the anti-apartheid struggle in South Africa and the civil rights campaigns across Latin America. And to be honest, it's critical for us to debunk the misconception that the impacts of EDSA was confined to the Philippines. Far from being a mere local event in Manila, EDSA's People Power became a global phenomenon, inspiring countless individuals and countless movements fighting against oppression. It showcased the potential of peaceful resistance to effect change, challenging the notion that force and violence are necessary to overthrow tyranny. The global resonance of the People Power Revolution, similar to the unification efforts in the Avatar world, serves as a testament to the enduring power of people united for a common cause. It reminds us that the fight for democracy and human rights is universal, transcending borders and cultures. And as we reflect on these parallels, we are reminded of the strength found in solidarity and the immense transformative power of collective action and peaceful movements in shaping a just and equitable world. Okay, again, just a reminder, there's a lot of bits and pieces of spoilers scattered throughout this video. But honestly, it does not really change the great experience of watching the Avatar: The Last Airbender, so don't worry about it. And with that, let us now continue. Let us draw from the conclusion of the Avatar: The Last Airbender series, the original series, to better understand the relevance of these lessons in our ever-changing, ever-evolving challenges in the world today. The echoes of the People Power movement resonate not just in the past, but forward into the future, embodying a beacon of hope and collective will. This historical moment, similar to the peaceful resolution in Avatar: The Last Airbender, teaches us the important lessons about unity, peace, and the ongoing struggles for justice. Avatar: The Last Airbender concludes with peace restored, a testament to the power of unity and nonviolent resistance. This narrative mirrors the Philippines after EDSA, prompting reflections on the relevance of people power in today's evolving challenges. As the characters in Avatar unite to rebuild, EDSA's legacy inspires advocacy for democracy and freedom, emphasizing peaceful means as the foundation for addressing contemporary issues. And honestly, beyond a historical milestone, EDSA symbolizes the living desire for freedom and democracy that is relevant globally, not just in the Philippines. It challenges us to consider the future of people power in a changing world, where governance, social justice, and human rights demand action. EDSA's significance transcends its time, beyond 1986, raising questions about sustaining the spirit of people power amidst new challenges. The legacy and future of people power remind us that the spirit of EDSA evolves, urging vigilance and commitment to unity and nonviolent resistance. Drawing inspiration from history and stories and, series like Avatar: The Last Airbender, we are called to take action, to carry the flame of people power forward, adapting its principles to meet today's challenges. This reflection is not merely just a retrospective, but more importantly, a clarion call to perpetuate the values of people power, ensuring its relevance and impact for generations to come. Pero wait lang, Kuya Kirby. I know you're a huge fan of Avatar, but what's the point of all of this? Through the lens of Avatar: The Last Airbender, we uncover the depth of the EDSA people power movement, debunking misconceptions and highlighting its global significance. This comparison shines light on EDSA's complexity, its impact, and the undying relevance of its lessons. Avatar: The Last Airbender and EDSA people power share themes of unity, of solidarity, resilience, and the pursuit of democracy, emphasizing the universal struggle for peace and justice. These narratives inspire us to ponder the future of people power, urging us to consider how its spirit will evolve to meet the new challenges in the Philippines and beyond. The question now stands, how will we apply the lessons and the wisdom of EDSA and the Avatar in today's world? Ensuring that the flames of collective action endures and, burn brighter in the face of the ever-evolving struggles for peace and democracy. This reflection is not just a throwback to the past. It's not just looking back at history, but a forward-thinking exploration, inviting us to keep the spirit of people power alive. And adapting its principles to continue inspiring change and nurturing a world where democracy thrives, where there is genuine peace and justice in our communities. And that is it for me today, so let me know what you think about today's topic in the comments below. And actually, if you've seen the new series or even the old series, the old animation or the live action version, let us know in the comments below which moment is your favorite or which moments are your favorite, because I know I have a ton of favorite moments in the whole series. And one last thing before I go, if you like this video and learn a thing or two, help me grow my channel by sharing this video to more people so more people can learn more about our people's history, culture, and everything in between. And if you want to support my channel and my research, don't forget to check out my books, coloring books, ebooks, and merch about the fascinating history and the colorful cultures of the Philippines and Southeast Asia. You may also help me make more videos like this by being my patron on Patreon or a member of my YouTube channel. So don't miss out and join our growing community today. Check out the links below. Dakal pong salamat, maraming salamat po. Daghang salamat, terima kasih, magsukulturod kay mo. See you next time, or in Tagalog kita kits, ening Kapampangan, Mikitix, and in Bahasa Melayu, Jum palagi.